them and saying that they're a nuisance and an inconvenience? Or are we respectful and accommodating and loving and nurturing? For instance, if they're in a place of business, whether it's a retail environment, whether it's a hospitality environment, whether it's a financial institution, do we make accommodations without letting them feel like they're a bother, but make them feel, privileged and appreciated? Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Very blessed and thankful. How about yourself?
I'm fine.
Amen.
I'm good.
All right.
Sterling, this morning on the OC show, we got that little program going on there, and they either going to give us some more time or kind of cut it to the core and don't accept no phone calls coming into that little program. That program is so informative, and people out here want to voice their opinion and so many different things. And I know the time limit some things, so they really need to look into that and give OC some more time, really and truly. But I just want to say that they had Mrs. Seymour on it this morning and Mr. David White talking in regards about the port.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much things that's happening in Cayman that need attention more than this port to a certain extent right now, comparing the garbage of all things that has got this whole island infested with garbage from Georgetown to East End. It's not what someone told me up until today. I saw it going east. But I just want to say that, when you become part of the government and we elect you and put you in there, we should have the right to come out here and voice our opinion without your back being starved from anything that we may say. Because when you go in the government, you have to have a strong back. Like I always say, Mr. McKeever, he has a back like an iguana. So I think a lot of our government people need to get one of those iguana backs on them, because they don't care what you taught McKeever, he's going to answer to the best of his ability, and he do what he got to do. So what I'm saying is that we just can't come out here and cherry pick who we're going to answer when we ask a question, because then we may put you in there, but we are holding you all accountable for anything that happened in our island when it comes to the government being part of it and everything else. You understand? Do you not know we need a port? No two ways about that. I know we've been using Georgetown for a long time. We know that. We know some cars are destroyed down there. We know that. But the facts remain. When we're going to go there and start to do what they say they want to do, we don't know what the end result's going to come up to become like. Once it start, we can't pick it up and can't nowhere else. So what I want to say, this morning, Wayne was saying about how the referendum will cost so much money. That's besides the point. The people have the right to voice their opinion. It is us that put them in there, and they should listen to us, we the people. He's going to say that money can help the homeless and the children and this and that. That should have been going on before we talk about referendum for the port. And furthermore, we're going to be going and do iguanas. And some persons can probably make about $2,000 a month, depending on how much they catch. We got to put 70,000 and change into iguanas when we got homeless people here, hungry people, children that should be having free school, lunch and breakfast, and don't have to worry about dinner when they get home. Sterling, please give me a break. All I have to say is, he says that they might, one dive site may get destroyed. If it's one, there is two, and it's three and four. And if it's only one, Sterling, that individual do not deserve that if they've been out there for so long. And I don't need them to calculate and tell me, oh, well, we got so many hundreds of dive sites. Big deal. Big deal. You know what I mean? And another thing, they mentioned that if we don't get involved in these mega ships, we're going to not have any cruise ships coming to the Cayman Island after a period of time. That is baloney. That white man clearly said on that platform that night on the 26th of September on a Wednesday night, I was there, that we will always have ships coming to the Cayman Islands. But if we don't get a pair, we will not be getting the mega ships. They'll be costing us like how they're doing now. You understand, Stanley, I'm coming from? People is going on as if these cruise ships going to stop tomorrow, and it's nothing to look for the next day. Let me tell you something. I believe that we'll always have tourism, regardless of how they come by boat or plane. And to build a pier downtown Georgetown and have an airport going on that costs over $55 million and is not finished and has no jetways, Sterling, where is the balance for tourism when we got to talk about our tourism products? Sterling, we got so many sites here that need upgrading, uplifting, enhancing, and they can go on, and nothing is being done. Are they waiting until they build a pier, and then they're going to go to spot stock, and then they're going to go here and there and beautify what's left behind? But I got a strong belief they're going to use that port dock to get their cruise berthing. But if this referendum goes through, I say not downtown Georgetown. That's all we got left, Sterling, of this Cayman Island. There's no way to go on the beach for these visitors that are coming on these cruise ships that we still want these mega boats to come here. Where are they going to go? Royal Palm's about to go under construction. Don't mention Public Beach. Are we all going down to Barkers? You know what I saw, Sterling, a couple of days ago? I went to the spot dock, and 3 Tropicana crossed me, flying, going up into Bordentown. And they came back down flying. And I was coming to Borden a couple of days ago, I went up to Morris Tortuga. And Sterling, if you see how those buses hug the sides of those roads in Bordentown, we talk about those dump trucks. Let me tell you something. Nothing beats them Tropicana buses that is railing through Bordentown. I'm looking to see someone get hurt very soon. And those guys, they don't drive with any care and concern. What is seen in front of them is the green U.S. dollar bill. The green U.S. dollar bill.
With that, though, I mean, as we look at it, there are those, and I hear your concerns, but those who say that there have to be concessions and they will have to, give up something in order to continue to progress our society, to see, people employed, to see opportunities. So putting a ship, a cruise port in town, whatever environmental or social impact, is just short term, and it's for better for us going forward.
All that is good, Sterling. Now, Sterling, listen to me, sweetheart. Do you know they can't tell us how many mega ships are going to come to the Cayman Islands weekly? You know why? Because they don't know, and we will not be able to accommodate no 3 and 4 mega ships per week. We're going to still have the small ships and the mega ships if the port is built. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So trying to tell people that we're not going to have these small ships coming to the Cayman Islands after a period of time, that is very, very misleading. People ask Mr. Moses, what is the job that is available? They had a poster saying 7 jobs is available. He couldn't name one, Sterling. He couldn't name one. So all I'm saying is, before we get too deep into this port, we need to find out exactly what all the pros and cons are and what all the effect is going to be on the people of this Cayman Island. There was a lady call this morning, and Mr. Timo was eager to comment on what she said, but he was not eager to comment anything positive on what other few people called in and said. But the lady, he was concerned about what she said, and he would take that to the house and discuss it. Well, more power to him. More power to him. But I want him to know today that he needs to get out here in a truck and start to pick up his garbage. So he gets a very good salary. I have nothing personal against him. But he needs to get out here and pick up his garbage. That's what he needs to do.
Okay. Now, finally, if I may ask you, and I appreciate you've been, so willing to share publicly, hopefully, and encourage others to share their view, whether they agree with you, whether they have questions. But to those who have said that the government, duly elected, should be in a position to decide whether they want to move forward with a project, whether it's, a new airport, whether it's buying new planes for Cayman Airways, whether it's building a new cruise port. Do you think that that's the case, or do you think that, as some have shared, projects of this magnitude, not just the cost to do it, but the potential impact on the society and the environment, that they should be subject to a referendum. What would be your view? Government should do it because they're elected, or the public should have a say?
No, government should not do it because they're elected. They need to go and read the Constitution, like Mr. Maxfield told him this morning. Go and read the Constitution. Not because we put them in there, that they must have all the answers and don't come back to us. We deserve answers when it comes to this kind of magnitude buildings and so forth in the Cayman Islands, because in Sterling we have absolutely no way to go. 25 years, that is my grandchildren and their children and your children, their grandchildren, who can be sitting back there punishing with a doctor. Probably has no use. You got to probably rebuilding and just the thought of it, Sterling,
yes,
to say that we got to do something like that. Look at God down on the bottom of New Road. He went in there and dig out that big old I don't know what you want to call it, like we went and got all that dirt from in the, what you all call it, a river, a pond, or I don't know what the right word is, but God got a piece of property down on help me, bottom of New Road going into West Bay. He went in there and he cleaned out the bottom. He took up all of that dirt, Sterling, every ounce that he could get, and piled it up and moved it onto his properties and used it. And I don't think 1 square inch of that was being wasted. He used it. And what I'm saying is, we got the quarry going on the eastern side of the island. And we got this mega hole down in West Bay that digged out and got all of his dirt from, for his filling for here and there. Sterling, we are just sitting on a rock, you know. We're sitting on a rock. The state of saying is a rock in a hard place or a rock in a soft place. Well, we're sitting on a rock. And let me tell you something. Every rock there is in earth can be broken at some point in time.
Thank you for sharing, and maybe that should cause us to be mindful. Any final thoughts, Mom?
I just want to say that I am not against a port being built. Where the heck we going to build it, Sterling? I don't even know. We survived all of these years with small ships. We got a ship that comes here that brings 5,000 people. They ain't talking about that. But it won't only going to bring 6,000. And we're going to build a pier to accommodate a mega ship that we have no proof how many is coming per week to this Cayman Island. And they're going to still bring the small ship to bring people plus the mega ship. And Sterling, all I got to say is that some people say 1 pair, some say 2 pair. Sterling, you know, this referendum is out there. Why these people of this island will come back and do their own referendum and say, well, you know what? Let's fight for Red Bay. Let's fight for Northtown. Let's fight for Georgetown. All because then one little small group decided that they've got to come up and say, you know what? We got to fight for this Georgetown Harbor. This is all we got left. And now we are the bad apples in the basket. I just want to say to whoever the chap fits, we have to live here, and I know you have to live here too. Forget about the big mega bucks and think about your safetyness. You have nowhere to run. We are surrounded by water, and by the time England comes for us, we all could be drowned. So you all better think clearly, because we will always have ships, and we'll always have airlines coming in here. Cayman Airways gone up on now charging for luggage. Now they're saying now, oh, no wonder Cayman Airways charging for luggage when they going to buy some new planes.
Yes, ma'am.
So be it. We need new planes. We need new planes.
All right. Hey, thanks very, very much, Palmer. With that, we'll pause and take a short break. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Water Authority Cayman's Survival Tip Saturday series is back. Throughout the 2018 hurricane season, the Water Authority will be posting helpful preparedness tips on our social media accounts every Saturday. Follow us on Instagram or like us on Facebook to stay informed on how you can prevent damage and minimize danger in the event of a storm. Be prepared, be aware, be safe. This hurricane preparedness tip is brought to you by Water Authority Cayman, suppliers of the world's most popular drink.
The Premier League is back. Every team, every game, every goal is on Flow. Sign up for the Flow Sports Pack today and get 8 dedicated channels to all the Premier League games in stunning HD. Call 1-800-534-7253 or visit discoverflow.ky for more info. The Premier League is back.
The 2018 Fall Labor Force Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office ESO. The LFS collects data on the employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit the randomly selected households in all districts. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the statistics law. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from freedom of information. For more details, please call the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
Cruise tourism is a vital part of Cayman's economy. It is the government's responsibility to create an environment where our people can have an opportunity to grow and prosper today, tomorrow, and into the future. It is a myth that Cayman does not need cruise tourism. It is a fact that cruise passengers spend $200 million per year buying services from small businesses, tour operators, attractions, restaurants, and retail shops. Those funds stay right here, supporting our economy and communities. Support the pairs. Support our tourism.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. It is open line. Let's go straight to our phones. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Yes, hello.
Hey, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much for sharing with us.
Yes, sir. I'd like to give a little comment on the report.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Alan.
Mr. Allen.
Alan Wise, and I was calling on behalf of the report.
Yes, sir.
We support the... I didn't... just let you want to comment. This lady just called a while ago.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to second her opinion. We need that for that spot, not downtown. Every year, listen to me, please. Every year, you know for yourself, you got this scare of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
We got this hurricane coming in all the time. What they gonna put this? They gonna march this. These ships are getting marched up on the shore.
Mm-hmm.
They do wrong.
So with that now and with the weather that we see, especially this time of year going into Christmas, what are your thoughts then with respect to the pier? Sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So putting the pier in town then, what are your thoughts? And going ahead with the project as they're discussing?
Yes, they put it in town every year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, every Christmas. You get the Northwesters are coming.
Right.
Well, they do this just to us. We live here. We know.
So would you think then that putting it somewhere else would be a better option?
Mr. Moses, what's he doing?
Mm-hmm.
He just getting into this house. He just doing what he wants. Please help us out.
What would that help look like? From
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I just second what that lady said a while ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And perhaps as we listen to the caller and reflect on his earlier comments previously, I think it's, as some have shared, maybe it's the timing, even though we've been talking about it for a while, the impact that it could have. Some have expressed concern, local as well as international comments. What is going to happen to the Cali shipwreck, the Balboa and the like? Potentially, despite any attempt to mitigate, could it also affect the 7 Mile Beach area? Would the increased numbers bode well for the tourism sector and the businesses? And equally, will it allow the increased revenue for existing businesses as well as create opportunities for new businesses to spring up, giving people the chance to expand, but also to set up shop. as callers have asked before, are we at a sufficient capacity now that if we get more, it will only make the experience worse for everybody, those who were coming before as well as those who were coming for the first time. 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. When we come back from our break, could we share with you some thoughts that we received in relation to the road closures recently and the idea that maybe we need to look at that. So we'll share with you some of those sentiments. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The American Society of Healthcare Risk Management's annual conference brings together delegates from around the world to discuss the challenges they face in the management of the healthcare industry. The conference this year was held in Nashville, Tennessee. A Cayman delegation was present, including representatives of Cayman's regulator, the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority, and several insurance managers. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. At least 10 people have been killed by flash floods in the Aude region of southwestern France. Local authorities say several months' worth of rain fell in just a few hours overnight, leaving roads blocked in some areas. None was swept away by the River Aude. Australia's senators narrowly defeated a motion condemning anti-white racism by just 3 votes. Pauline Hanson, the leader of Australia's far-right One Nation party, wanted backing for her motion, which stated it is okay to be white. It also spoke of the deplorable rise of anti-white racism and attacks on Western civilization. And sleeping rough in public areas is now against the law in Hungary. The law was brought in by Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government, but the United Nations called it cruel, insisting it goes against human rights. It effectively outlaws living on the streets and was first approved by the Budapest Parliament in June. Rough sleeping is sleeping in open public places. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Join Radio Cayman at the Credit Union Thursday, October 18th from 12 until 2 p.m. as we bring you live coverage of the International Credit Union Day and Members Appreciation Event. Come on down and learn about the special loans along with carnival games, prizes, and snow cones for the kids, plus a chance to win $5,000.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. It is open line. We take your calls and share your thoughts with us as you choose. Hey, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Someone on our WhatsApp says, hey, we need the ships at spots. That's their view. You share your thoughts with us. You want to talk about the cruise port or otherwise, please do so. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Or if you prefer, you can WhatsApp 925-3261. And if you want, you can email talktoday@candw.ky. Of course, WhatsApp is there for you if that's easier. Record a voice note, send it across, type it up and send it through. We'll read it for you. Our WhatsApp is 925-3261. Use it for the record, use it for Talk Today, use it to send a request. Either way, use it for us and let us know what your perspective is. 949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Just before the break, we said we wanted to share sentiment expressed by a couple of our listeners in relation to the recent announcement from the RCIPS in relation to road closures. I believe the new policy will be that on weekdays between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., and then between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., rarely will they authorize a road closure. A couple of you have shared, well, two things. One, is that something that RCIPS should be authorized to do? Should that be the National Roads Authority or Cabinet? Should it be delegated to them? You can decide whether you think that's reasonable or not. The police are the ones who manage the traffic and the like, so perhaps it's them. But others have shared, but wait a minute, why just weekdays? Why not on Saturdays and even Sundays? A few you have referenced, even though it may not be often, it may only be a couple of times a year or even once a year, events on Saturdays as well as Sundays that they've been inconvenienced, getting to the airport or getting, about their Saturday chores for the shopping and the runs to the hardware stores and garden centres and the places where they're trying to get through. One lady said on a particular Saturday, an event was going on, the roads were closed, and she found it, other than the regular Saturday traffic where everybody's out and about running around in their Saturday chores and the like, that was even worse. So the same battle that she has during the week, getting to and from work and school and the like, she also had to encounter on Saturday. So should that road closure equally apply to every day? Why just weekdays? Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I am pretty good.
All right. Good to hear from you.
It's good to be in this connection, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, I heard you say, you wanted to sort of dwell on that topic about the pair a little bit, so that's why I called.
Yes, sir.
Now, somehow in some part of my head, I'm hearing shades of the West Bay maze of roads, which I think DART was responsible for. And there were lots of, people were blocking the streets, etc., etc. Lots of stuff went on because of that road. I don't hear any complaints right now. As a matter of fact, some people I've heard saying, boy, I didn't know we existed without that maze of roads that we have now to West Bay. So I seem to be hearing, shades of that West Bay situation because people are generally, as far as I'm aware, reluctant to deal with change. And a gentleman was on just a little while ago and saying, basically, I think I didn't hear everything you were saying, but he was saying basically, we know what happens here. We understand what happens here. And, people are saying we're not stupid. It's all going to go wrong. And I am saying that none of us has experienced whatever will transpire if the pair is built. We've not. I have had good experiences with places that have piers. Now, not that their experience is going to be ours necessarily, but in addition to, I think I mentioned the last time I spoke with you that I have relatives and friends from other parts of the world who have been here often via cruise ships.
Right.
And they all have lamented the fact that there is no pier because they lose ours. Now, just let me mention this quickly in passing. Now, somebody said just the other day, I think it must have been on one of the, it might have been on the morning show from Hurley's Media, that people have gone out and enjoyed things like Miss Vivian's kitchen, etc., etc., and so they have access to that. But my experience is this. When we have people coming, depending on the number of people, we rent a fairly large bus type thing, and then we go pick them up at the pier, and then we go straight out there because that's the most scenic part of the island we think is out there in East End or North Side. So we would do that. But by the time we're done with that, there's no time for shopping, going and doing the other stuff that they would like to do. So very often we think it's the best thing for them to do is to enjoy the island, the beauty of the island, etc. But when we get back, they have to get on the ship. And they said, boy, we never got a chance to do any shopping. Now, from what I see, people are generally who come on the ships are faced with two options. Go and do your shopping, and then, just hang about or go back on the ship or whatever, or you go out and see the scenic part of the island, and then get back on the ship. Now, if they had an extra 2 hours, wow, they can go out and eat at those places out there. Zavine, I remember, and there's another place out there, has lovely food, not far from Shetty Hospital. And we've enjoyed that on many occasions. Now, as I see it, they could go out there, have a good meal, see some of the sights, and come back and still have an hour and a half or so to actually take your time and shop. Because although we say that they come with between 40-something, that was Woody's figure, 40-something and 80-something, I think, dollars, and that's what they want to spend, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have time to spend that money. So there are lots of people who maybe like our people, when they come here, they go and they eat, and then they come back and go on the ship. That whatever money they had allocated for spending, they cannot spend because they do not have the time to spend.
But then how do you, it's according to the government, and I recognize we have some of the callers, but they're saying, hey, the increase in time with those people when we have a pair isn't going to be that significant. So by a pair or by tender, the amount of time in our, on our shores isn't going to be that much of a significant difference.
Well, I beg to disagree with that, because when we go and pick them up, most of the time, like by 11 or so, when they manage to get off, because their batch, these are older people, most of them retired. Not all of them, but most of them are retired.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they get into the hustle and get on the tenders and so on, and get in here, 10, 11, 11:30, and then they rush out to the East End, that's close to an hour's worth of driving. I disagree very strongly with the notion that that the time difference is not important. I disagree very strongly with that. Okay. I think that there is significant. An extra 2 hours would be ideal, I would think. And my wife agrees with me. She's not one for calling the radio shows and expressing her views, but she agrees with me 100%. That extra 2 hours would be ideal,
right?
At least for our people, all right? Now, as I said, I think that in hindsight, if we do manage to get the pair, in hindsight, we can look back and say, boy, what did we ever do without that pair, right? Now, I figure that maybe 15, 20 people are going to be inconvenienced.
Right.
I heard the lady from the photo place, what's it called, on South Church there. I heard her say, are you going to compensate me, when she was at the forum at the Agape Family Life Center.
No, at the Family Center on Walker's Road there, right?
Yeah. Right. She said, I'm going to lose business. Are you going to compensate me? Well, it seems that conventional wisdom, for the first time, as far as I can tell, varies considerably on this.
Right.
Nobody knows everything about what will happen eventually out there. That's why there's a strong debate.
Right.
If I remember correctly, most of the people now in government, when they were in opposition, opposed that peer.
All right. Well, that's a question to ask. Why are they now supportive? Maybe they've come to more things. You got to take a break, Miss Susan? And we have callers online. Yeah, Miss Susan's in charge. Yeah, all to stay on her side. If you would, though, please stay on the line.
The Premier League is back. Every team, every game, every goal is on Flow. Sign up for the Flow Sports Pack today and get 8 dedicated channels to all the Premier League games in stunning HD. Call 1-800-534-7253 or visit discoverflow.ky for more info. The Premier League is back.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on ensuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
Thousands of Caymanians work in our cruise tourism industry. It is a myth that Cayman does not need cruise tourism. It is a fact that 4,500 Caymanians work in this industry today as taxi and tour operators, boat captains and crew, restaurateurs, retailers, water sports operators, and ambassadors at our attractions. If our cruise tourism industry is half of what it is today, what are we going to do with our people, the thousands of unemployed Caymanians? Support the peers, support our tourism.
Welcome to our Esso service station. How can I help you today, ma'am?
$25 in fuel, please.
Sure. I bet I can make you smile, too.
Bet you can't.
Would $5,000 cash make you smile?
Of course. Who wouldn't? But how?
Spend $25 or more in fuel at any of our Esso service stations, and you could be the winner of $5,000 cash. Every week for 5 weeks, one lucky winner will win $5,000 cash. Made you smile, didn't I?
I'm smiling.
Drive into an Esso station today. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. It is open line. We do have some callers. Thank you so much for staying on the line. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Just wondering about what would happen when these ships start coming. But when you hear government was just advertising by the 4,500 Caymanians employed in tourism industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying this. It's much more than that. Foreign nationals employed in the tourism industry.
Yep.
And look at the situation right now. All the big tour buses are parked on the dock, and they're all pre-booked on the ship. Right? The taxis have a little place down the south part there you can park. Most of them is almost a mile away. Now, when these big ships start coming right to the dock, I know, I don't think it's going to be any different. The big tour buses are going to get twice as many buses. They're all going to be pre-booked on the ship, and they're going to be parked on the dock. The Harbour Drive Street is going to be closed off. But the port has a mile away. Only a few of them might be able to get through with all the traffic and the local traffic as well. So it'll take a half an hour to get up there and up down to the dock. Then you have all the water taxis. Again, most of them are going to be pre-booked on the ship. And then, if the port taxi drivers didn't get half of what they're getting now. All the money is going to go to the big tour companies and the big dive operators already pre-booked. And they can park their big buses on the dock, pick up all the people as they come off. Is that going to help our people? Is that going to help the Cayman people? No? I don't think so. But
yes, sir. All right. Well, appreciate it very much. And as we go to the other caller, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Okay.
Right.
And good afternoon to you guests also.
And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, sir.
Yes, the cruise dock, like I said before, it's something that's needed, not wanted. The safety of the passengers and because of the size ships that they're now making and the weather. But because of the dredging that they will have to do in order to make those docks, sea surge will be higher when the waves come ashore. And it's my belief not if it's going to happen, but when it will happen. That will cause some serious destruction in Georgetown. Thank you very much, Dwayne.
Thank you as well, sir. Thank you. And let's try the other line. And good afternoon. You're on Talk today. Nope, not there. Hey, sometimes, we must repeatedly extend our apologies and appreciate that you're not always able to stay on as you would like. But hey, thanks for sharing and listening. And when you can, call in and contributing. This is, a democracy, and it only gets healthier and stronger if we have, a level of participation. Like that ethos we would like to develop in our society and inculcate amongst the people that shows a deference to our elderly. Well, we need to make to a point where we have healthy, open, constructive dialogue about projects like the port, the airport expansion, the acquisition of Cayman Ridge Plains, privatization of certain things, whether it's a dump. If the populace isn't, so encouraged and confident and willing and recognize the responsibility to speak publicly, then how can we really call ourselves a democracy? Now, let me share with you a couple of thoughts that are coming through in the emails and see in the WhatsApps and tell me what you think. First off, caller prior was saying that, people were losing time. They said the reason that the scholars, folks are losing time is because of all the chaos in Georgetown, being in Georgetown Central. In spots, that problem is not there. There's another sentiment on the WhatsApp that I would like very much to share, but let's take this caller. Hey, good afternoon. You're on Talk today.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much for calling. How are you?
Okay, very well, very good today. I will keep mine very short because some people have been very long-winded, and we all know that we're going to have lots of traffic if we get that cruise ship. Everything does. One question I would like to ask, and after I ask, I'll leave it with you and see if you can get any info on it. But as far as I know, it's illegal to damage coral reefs in our waters, and as far as I know, we have fined people with yachts and the cruise industry over the years. At some point or another, we have laid heavy fines on yacht and cruise ship owners for damaging our reefs. Am I not right? Tell me if I'm right or not.
We understand that there is through the environmental legislation that there are fines. We've seen a couple being levied in the past, and other times where we wonder. Yes, you're right.
And even is it Sir Branston that was actually his yacht pulled its anchor through some reef up there on Northwest Point, and he was also very heavily fined. Am I not right?
Was it him or some other relative individual?
Bill Gates, maybe.
Or Paul Allen or somebody?
Yeah, somebody, right. Now, what my question is, if we are fining people for destroying our reef, and we have laws against people coming and destroying our reef, is the government not breaking the law by trying to build something that's going to cause reef destruction? To make it very, very simple, how can we have laws that only stand at one time, period, person, etc., and then turn around and all of a sudden we're not even talking about these laws anymore? How come nobody is talking about the legality of the government setting up themselves to destroy the reef? So I'll leave that with you, and I would like to hear input from other people and any attorneys or anybody who can answer my question as a Caymanian that grew up enjoying the reefs in Georgetown and South Sound. My name is Nicole Eldmeyer, and I really, really like somebody to give some feedback. Why can the government now come along and break laws that we have fined people for in the past? And also, would that not open up a can of worms where maybe they then can, in return, come and sue the Cayman Islands government for charging them for something that they're doing themselves?
All right.
Right, Sterling Dwayne?
Thank you very much, Ms. Nicole.
Okay, I'll leave that with you.
All right. Let's take another call. Hey, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, Sterling.
Uh-huh.
We had some coral damage out there in the ocean some time ago, not too far along, and some mega yacht and some other boat I can't say the name right now, and the government got X amounts of dollars, and they did not tell the people of this island what amount of money that they received from that mega yacht and the other boat that who destroyed some reefs out there some time ago. I would like someone to tell me where that money is at. I'll leave you at that, Sterling. Thank you.
All right. Well, the era of openness and transparency, maybe that'll be forthcoming before an FOI is sent. 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Let's share this WhatsApp, and I really appreciate, more importantly, the very public comments some of you have shared. And this one says, I've been doing more listening and talking about the purpose, about the proposed port project. There is way too much political spin on either side, making it rather difficult for me to decide which side to support. Both sides seem to be saying a port is needed, but it seems that there is no clear consensus on where it should be. Seems to me that getting passengers on and off in a safe and timely manner is the driver of this project. It says, I am well travelled and have gone to places where one economy is divided from the other by water, but connected by ferries, and there is steady movement of people and commercial activity both ways. I am therefore asking if all options of improving the way passengers are moved from and to the ships have been explored. And that listener sends that. Thank you for taking time to put your thoughts. And it's a question that, as worded there, have been asked by many. Have we looked at all the options? Should the port be in Georgetown, and if so, in what capacity? Should it be Red Bay, Spots, East End, in the North Sound, off the Turtle Farm area? Is there another option? Well, as that caller shared earlier, and as that person sent on that written message, hey, we probably could look at this and analyze it better if we had the facts. Of course, there'll be those who would obviously want to say, well, we think it's better here, so they'll set about, campaigning, advertising to convince people, and then others would say, well, this. But maybe that's a sign of democracy, maybe it's a sign of something else. But that is the question. This person says, when we look at it, are we considering our carrying capacity? And for some, the whole question comes down to, are we looking at this from the long-term perspective? Are there other drivers? Well, seems like there are indeed a lot of questions. The question is, what are we going to do as voters specifically, and residents, generally, trying to help to inform ourselves and inform the decision-making process so that our governments, this one that is going to, be involved if the project goes forward or not, and the next one that we either have to continue it or decide what are we going to do to make the, that decision the best possible. Let's take one final quick call. Good afternoon, you're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Sterling, Dwayne, Ebanks.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Not too bad, man. This mocks some hair, calling from my back.
And I trust that life is good in the back still.
Yeah, man. Really nice.
All right.
Yes. So then,
Yes.
I just want to refresh your memory and more or less the taxi, some of the taxi drivers that were there, when they were there. I spent 30 years in the taxi business on the waterfront, mostly, you know.
Right.
And I remember in 1994, we had a march. It was around October 2, I think. And the minister at that time was Thomas Jefferson. You remember he was a minister?
Minister for Tourism, the former financial secretary. Yeah.
Yeah, but he Thomas Jefferson ended up being the Minister of Tourism.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In 1994. So we went up to Florida to meet these cruise ship people, you know, the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association.
Right.
And from what I gather, it was 3 of us that went up there with the Honorable Thomas Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
And they entertained us, but for what I gather, those cruise ship people, they're not too interested in letting the place that they go in make the most money out of those people. You know, those cruise ships are selling those people all the tickets, everything that they go do and show they want to sell them those tickets. What the tour operators or the big buses, they have a fixed arrangement with them. When they come so much ahead, they go get. But the cruise ship is controlling the bulk of the money. What the taxi drivers end up getting is, I would say, the crumbs. Because everything that is done on there, the bigger the ships, the more money the cruise line will make. That's for sure. Our government needs to play a big part is increase the per passenger rate. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, the country is getting from each passenger.
Right. What they getting? If they're getting $12, they need to increase that to about $36. That's what they need. Now the port, I really wouldn't want to know that any dredging go on in Georgetown Harbor. Honest to God, because I've been up there enough times in my life, you know. If they dredge out there, my friend, we go have water up on Shaden Road. I mean, on the upper end of Shaden Road too, you know. Because it's not going to be enough to hold back the water, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So building a dock or pairs there in having to dredge, I tell you the truth, we're heading down the wrong path. And I hope the people that are responsible, I hope it can be some law that is put in place before, because whoever agree and get the financing, whether it come on the cruise ship or we have to borrow it to build those docks, or those piers, somebody will have to pay. And definitely it shouldn't be the people of the Cayman Islands. And when I say that, a lot of people going to lose a lot of buildings if they dredge out there, my friend.
Yes, sir. Well, that's a big concern. Hey, thank you for sharing, sir.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon. Listen, thank you all very much for sharing. Now, tomorrow, we'll tell you what happened. But just a quick last final comment from one of our listeners. They say, hey, what about all, the additional sewage, that's going to be generated with this thing? So I'll be thinking about that as well. Now, tomorrow, we'll start off our discussion with the good friends from the National Weather Service as part of their continued public education discussion. 12:45, we'll have a scheduled discussion in relation to the port. Our intent, weeks and weeks ago as we were trying to put it together, we'll get two people from, the pro-port side and two people from the CPR, as they said, Cayman needs some CPR. So we got two from each side, bring them to the table and have a meaningful, engaging, informative, discourse. And that's the plan for tomorrow. Trust and pray you'll join us. But please, come back in the morning and join us for our Business Buzz program. And, remember, remember that on the BRAC tomorrow, as part of the celebration and respect for our elderly, at the Aston Rudder Civic Centre from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. there's a Cayman BRAC social. So please go and be part of that if you're on the BRAC. Now, I invite you to have a very safe and productive, enjoyable rest of this afternoon. And until tomorrow, join me, Stuart, as he hosts the Business Buzz. That's going to be fun. Hey, stay tuned for now what Susan's going to bring to you. Maybe you call and request a song. I can give you a suggestion if you want, but if you don't know, Susan knows. Until then, be blessed.
Voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
We love our listeners. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.